Good afternoon, Foxtrots. It's a nice rainy-ish afternoon at around 1 in the afternoon. So for those who are outside or at work, please do keep yourselves dry as much as possible. And for those at home, keep yourself hydrated, even though it's rainy. You know how hot it still gets, because we're in the Pelopans. And of course, welcome to episode 22 of Shrine Talk with yours truly, Inarioko. And my guest for today is none other than Goth3412.
Hello, the internet.
Hello, hello indeed. Now, there are a lot of mutual foxtrots among Goth's channel, but just for the sake of introductions, of course, for those who do not know who Goth is, Goth, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, hello, hi. My name is Goth3412. I guess I'm what everyone calls a variety streamer. I play like a plethora of games on Twitch, and yeah, hi.
Oh, there you go, variety streamer Goth. Now, just to give a quick rundown of what to expect for today's episode, we are of course going to talk about how exactly we choose the games that we stream because deciding what to stream regardless if it's a game or not, if it's content, there are those that struggle like exactly what to choose. It's the paradox. Like, you don't know what's worse, having few games to choose from or too many games to choose from. So we're here to hopefully give you a solution to that problem and share our experiences with how we actually do that. Okay, now, first question for today. Where did you first stream Goth? Like, what platform?
Oh, my first stream. Funny enough, I remember a lot about it. My first stream was here on Twitch, actually, all the way back on August 20. I want to say 2016, maybe 2015. So yeah, I've been around for quite some time.
Damn, that was even before VTubers were a thing.
Yeah, I know. It was. I guess you'd call the Wild West of streaming, because at that point in time, everyone just like knew of like PewDiePie or like Markiplier, the really big YouTubers doing Let's Plays. Like,
True.
streaming wasn't really that defined yet at that time, so it was definitely the Wild West.
And you could also say streaming at the time was very Western as a concept. Like, there were not many streamers outside of the West, I think.
No, I think you're right about that. Yeah, there definitely were. It was more of a Western concept, like, because again, most like people who do Let's Plays on YouTube were mostly in the West at the time, excluding PewDiePie, because at that time I do believe he was still in Sweden. No, yeah, no, Sweden. He was
Sweden,
still early
yeah.
on. It was definitely early on in his journey. So yeah, definitely he was in Sweden. But like, with Markiplier and there was like so many other people. They were all based in the United States before everyone started moving over to Los Angeles.
And even at the time, like, content creators like PewDiePie and Markiplier were still focused on, as we said, content creation. They were making like funny videos, maybe a few compilations, maybe a bunch of prank videos, or review videos or react videos, but not really like streaming. Even nowadays, if I were to tell someone back in 2016, yo, you wanna stream your vacation in Japan, they'll be like, what? Why? But nowadays, actually, people are kind of interested in seeing live streams of that, which strange, but you can kind of see the appeal in that because you get your viewers involved and you can answer questions directly, and you can literally point at examples whenever you're out vacationing in a place where your viewers always wanted to go, but they for some reason they couldn't.
Yeah. I feel like it's funny because now that you mention it, since majority of my audience is in North America, I remember, I think New Year's, just last year,
Mm.
I didn't have any plans. My grandparents were still in quarantine after coming back from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it was, of course, still like the heightened time of COVID. So, not a lot of parties were happening either way.
Yeah.
So, what I decided to do is I have this tripod for my phone. And what I did was I took my car, I went for a drive, and I just drove around the highway close to midnight because um, but where we're from, if you take a specific highway that's elevated, you'll be able to see a lot of fireworks from the horizon within the cities. So that was my plan on doing it, but connection was horrible. But it was one of the first times I ever did like an IRL mobile stream, and it was crazy that like I'm just in the car, I can like literally talk to people, and I'm like, oh, like you got fireworks here, like this is the freeway I would take going to class back in the day. It was a weird experience because again, my audience are all North America, so they don't really know what it's like here in the Philippines. So it was really something cool to be able to share with everybody.
Yeah, nice. Actually, yeah, to be fair, even a lot of like my friends and viewers who are from the States always want to go to the Philippines for a vacay. And I always keep telling them like, if you're gonna come to the Philippines for vacay, bring money just for souvenirs and shopping, because premiums and luxuries here are so cheap.
Very true. Very true. I'm always told by my relatives like, hey, bring us some cigarettes when you come from the Philippines. I'm like, why me? Like, this was before my family knew I was smoking, so I was like, why me? I don't want family to know about this, that I'm smoking. And they're like, it's cheaper there, man, come on. And sure enough, it is.
To be fair, it is very cheap.
Very cheap, yeah.
Okay. For me personally, I started streaming on Facebook Gaming about 4-5 years back. That was when Facebook didn't have that bad of a reputation yet. It was really just a social media platform with some ads here and there. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, it had a lot of potential because it had a more lenient requirement for you to start monetizing your content. And of course, not everyone had a Twitch account, but everyone had a Facebook account. So getting interactive viewers on your stream was very seamless, very easy as well. But of course, we all know it went downhill ever since, well, Facebook became Meta. And of course, a lot of the controversy surrounding Zuckerberg, but that's not the topic of this episode anyway. But it was still a very much good learning experience because being on a very young platform, I got to learn basically what it's like to experiment. Because on a platform like that where not many things are set in stone, people are still trying out a lot of things. And a friend of mine told me that he had a friend who still streams there, I believe. Like, he would literally make challenges for himself mid-stream. And for example, if he were to die 3 times in a game, he would crack an egg on top of his head. And literally, he did that on stream. And I'm just like, okay, weird, but hey, if it's content and your audience likes it, then go for it. Yeah. Especially since, again, new platform, not many people are familiar with it, so they're just gonna go with it. And then I tried YouTube when they started experimenting with streaming. The tools were very sparse, so I went to Twitch, took a break, and then here I am as a VTuber. VTuber.
Well, I mean, like, I met you as a VTuber, so you've always been a VTuber in my eyes, don't worry.
Yeah. Alright, next question. Do you remember the very first game that you ever streamed?
I do, actually, funny enough. Yeah, because there's this website I looked up. I, for the life of me, cannot tell you the name unless I try Googling it for myself. Good. But this website is somewhat like a Wayback Machine. and it's specific for showing content like on YouTube, on Twitch, on like all these other like platforms, and it showed me when my very first stream was. That's why I remember the date too. It was November 18, yep, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And the first game I played was this game called Hide and Shriek. And it's like this little like hide and seek game that has like it's a spin-off game from this other game called Secret World Legends, and this game is like it's an MMORPG that deals with Lovecraftian lore and like all this supernatural lore and stuff. So the spin-off game that they made was just a little something like there's some classrooms and it's you versus another person, and you have to get the most points by bringing these orbs to an altar, and while that's happening, you could set traps to sort of like capture the other opponent or to give their location away, because you're both invisible, and once you know their location you can give them like a jump scare, and if they get scared 3 times it's an automatic like it's an automatic game over for them. And it's a fun little party game that I like to play, and it was with Enzo Rocks as well. I used to always stream with Enzo Rocks, so like yeah, that was our thing back then.
Well, sounds like a very mechanic heavy game, but sounds very hella fun.
It is. Once you get into the groove of it, like it's easy. Like you can play like for hours on end.
The first game that I streamed was literally like 30 minutes after I debuted. I just took a short break because I had to take all the hype in and all the nervousness in. But the first game I did stream was Guilty Gear Strive. And it made sense because, like, as someone who's very much into fighting games, it made sense that I played a really popular title and a fresh title at the same time. And at the time, it was Guilty Gear Strive. Although I mainline Tekken, Guilty Gear has always been a 2D title that I did dabble in once in a while. Maybe not as much as Street Fighter, but it is a gorgeous looking fighting game. I think right now, I would say it's the best looking fighting game right now, but Street Fighter 6 looks to steal that from them, but we'll see. And of course, like, it's, to compare, of course, Guilty Gear is more anime than Street Fighter, but in terms of, like, graphical fidelity and whatnot, Guilty Gear is killing it right now. Of course, we'll see with Street Fighter 6. And I remember when in my first stream of Guilty Gear, I didn't even do player lobbies. I just played against other people in ranked matches. As again, I was still very nervous, and my audience was still getting to know me more. So I think even those who wanted to like spar with me in player lobbies and Guilty Gear just wanted to know me more before they actually asked, like, hey, you want to play a few matches?
Right, of course.
But I guess for an MMO like you, it's an MMO, right?
No. It was the game it's from is an MMO, but like this was a spin-off, so it was just like a 2-player kind of game.
Oh, well, I guess if you did play an MMO, it's not like you could kick someone from the game server if you didn't want to play with them.
No, that's well, I mean, you could just block them, like
they're still in the game.
Yeah, they still are.
They still are in the game. Nothing you can do about that. But for fighting games, like, it was a good thing that matchmaking at that time was still very active, and queue times weren't that short. Not to say that it isn't right now, but like, of course, with so many fighting games available right now, the player base is spread out. So yeah. Okay.
No, yeah. I'm sorry I can't really relate because I'm not that much in fighting games.
It's all good, but the fact that you play multiplayer games, you know how that does take into account like your mentality when you play a multiplayer game. Like when you stream a multiplayer game, you still have that mindset like, there's probably someone in the chat that wants to play with me right now if they play the game. And
I
thing
bet.
is, you're like, do you know them? Do you not know them? Like, if you don't know them, like, how do you know what kind of person they are? What if they're toxic? What if they're not?
Oh yeah,
It's that
that's
kind
always
of
a
thing
big
that you have to
gamble.
grapple in your mind. Like, you don't want to miss out on a potential friend, but you don't want to let someone in who is potentially a detriment to your community. So
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, how do I keep them at arm's length but not reject them outright? You know, that is a problem that
Oh
we
yeah,
streamers
no.
have to face.
I know, it's crazy, especially like when I started my Animal Crossing series. It was so weird because there'd be a lot of people always out there like, hey, like could you come to my island? Could you tour my island? Could you tour my house? That kind of stuff. And I remember a lot of other streamers were having a slew of really, really, I want to say creepy content that was found with the houses because of how the level of customization that's available within Animal Crossing at that time.
I
Some of the
remember.
houses, um, like I remember one of the houses was literally just like a streamer's face just plastered on the floor and the walls and the pathways in the village,
Nice.
and like literally like the her face was also on a pillow that you could sit on.
Oh my
So that
god.
was kind of like a little bit of a red flag there, you know what I
But yeah,
mean?
bye.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, the moment you step into someone's island, you see a very racist message on the ground, like, oh dear.
Oh yeah, like the moment that happens, you're just like, well,
I'm
gotta
out.
leave.
I leave. No, not even I'm out. You just go to your Switch, turn off the button, like, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, you just shut it all down, honestly.
Okay, that's enough island hopping today.
Yeah. It's like, well, I think I'm gonna work on my island today. We're done with
Yeah,
visits.
pretty much. And you just try to shrug it off. Well, chat, that's something you won't see on my island.
Yeah, you're just like, well, that was
That was something.
I
That was
wouldn't call it
something.
tasteful, but that was something, all right.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah.
You can call
It,
you can call it a lot of things. Something is one of them.
yeah, it's crazy too because like when that sort of situation happens, especially like if you're just starting out with like that kind of content, you really just find out how so dumbfounded you are because you never really expected something like that.
Yeah.
And because of those like situations that I've had, whenever it comes to a multiplayer game that my community and I are very familiar with, like bless my moderators, we have like um certain steps to take before we actually are able to like go to someone's island or like to have someone join in on a game or whatever. So like my mods are just, I love them to death. I really do. I know I keep making jokes about asking for their 2 weeks notice. They know it's a joke. Sometimes they actually give me a 2 weeks notice and then I cry a little bit, but then it's all good.
Moderators really doing God's work for us streamers.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I don't know how I was able to do my Animal Crossing series without any moderators because I didn't have any back then.
I see.
Yeah.
Is this the one that Blue was talking about?
The one Blue was talking about, the 365 days of
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. Yeah,
Is that the one?
yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I would say really started getting the ball rolling for me as a streamer, as a content creator, because it was back on Facebook,
Yeah.
and
That was
I don't
peak
know.
Animal Crossing popularity as well.
Oh, definitely, because quarantine, everybody's at
Quarantine.
home. New game comes out, everyone just
Not just any
hops right
game,
onto
a
it.
very interactive game.
Exactly, and like, it was just
People were hosting like real live events there, like a book reading, a fucking wedding, an anniversary.
the way, fun fact, the way Dip and Blue actually started wanting to become like a streamer or like in that sort of field of content creation, because we all know Dip and Blue as a musician.
Mhm.
He was releasing the EP to he was releasing a single, and he approached me and he said, hey, would it be all right if you can like sort of have my music playing on your stream when it comes out? And I said, hey, why not we do like a live like listening party? You have Animal Crossing, just like make like a little stage, we'll go to your island, we'll play the music in the background, and it's like a boom, it's like a live show. and then like we had it happen. It was great. It was fun, and then ever since then, Blue's been like, you know what? I want to get into streaming, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude, do it.
I guess that explains why he's ever grateful for you.
Oh my god, I don't. It's crazy too because I've known Blue way back. Like we go back into like my early college years actually.
Damn.
So we've known each other for quite some time, and then I don't know. It's like as time goes on, relationships like they grow, and to be able to be considered like, you know, a source of inspiration for most people when they start streaming, especially for like a friend that's as close as Blue. It's definitely so crazy to think that where we were back then comparing to where we are now, it's like absolutely like I'm sure none of us expected to be where we are right now.
Well, it's one of those happy accidents you're glad it happened, I guess.
Definitely.
So, next question. Do you follow any particular channel for the games or the content that they stream more than the streamer or the channel / brand itself?
You know, back when, like, if we're talking about like following people for their content or following it for themselves, back in the early, the early onset of like Let's Plays and all that stuff, I would always, at first, of course, I would always go in for like the content, you know, like what games they play, because I'm always like, ooh, this is a new game. I want to see what it's like, you know, in case I want to play it myself. From that, from starting at that point, I would say, yeah, it would be for the content and for like what the game itself is. But as I keep revisiting these content creators, you know, it sort of like develops into a more like interpersonal relationship with them because of how they would present themselves, how they are as a person, you know, like you start going beyond from what their content is. So it's, for me, that it's kind of a toss-up of a question, but definitely I would say that the people I follow are definitely like, you know, I do definitely follow them for who they are as a person, you know, because I know them. I would end up getting to know them on that level, if that makes any sense. But there are some channels, you know, that are specifically dedicated to like a form of content. Like, let's say a good example of this would be like Game Theory. You know, we know what Game Theory is. We know what their content's going to be about. Do I have an interpersonal close relationship with MatPat? No, I don't think so. It'd be cool though. Like MatPat, my DMs, bro, they open. But if we're talking about like wanting to have more grasp on what their content is about, then MatPat's content is definitely what that is. Because, you know, like one day I'm just like chilling out, and then I'll just be like, hey, I see a new video of like the back rooms that MatPat opened up. Like, I want to check that out, you know? So, because I already know what his videos are, what his like, how he does his content. So that's why I would be more inclined to watch that. But then again, like, you know, by the time I pass that sort of bound of going there just for the content and being there, you know, for who they are as a person, it would always shift, I'd say. So it's kind of a 50-50, 50-50 kind of question.
Fair. But I mean, I personally also have a bunch of no, not just Twitch streams, but like even YouTube content creators that I do follow for their content more than their personality. But I also like to see it this way. When you follow someone for their game or for their content and you stay, what keeps you staying is actually the content creator themselves, I like to believe. Like, for those who do not know Goth on the same level as his followers and subscribers and his mutuals, they'd probably follow Goth for his Animal Crossing content, his F14 content, and other stuff that he plays. But like, usually, if someone plays a lot of Animal Crossing and they see Goth stream Animal Crossing, they would dip in and see like, oh, another person plays Animal Crossing, I wonder what they are like. And then after a couple of streams, they're like, okay, you know what? This person's fun. See, it's not anymore like wow, this person's good at designing islands. Oh wow, this person has a lot of popular um villagers. Are like, wow, this person has a lot of rare villagers. When they get past that point, they're like, you know what, this content creator is fun. They don't really care anymore what Goth would stream. They're just like, I want to see Goth stream something. Because they've already seen Goth stream a game that they like, a game that they play. And when they see that, they're like, you know what, I wonder what they're like when they stream other stuff. That's why I like to believe that when you start off, this is a very common advice. When you start off content creation or a stream, especially live streaming, you want to focus on one or two content or games, I'd like to believe, or at least genres, before you move on to variety streaming. Because you have to develop like a good loyal follower base or viewer base that knows you before you start branching out. Because if you start off trying to dip in each gaming genre or the viewers of a certain game, before it sinks in what kind of streamer you are, they just watch you for your stream, and then when you stream something else, they're not interested. So, for example, in my case, since I play a lot of fighting games, for like first month that I started, I played a lot of fighting games. I played Guilty Gear Strive. I played a lot of Tekken. Those were literally almost the only two games I played in between like very few like FF14 and Monster Hunter games that I played. And my first collab, not counting Shrine Talk, was literally Tekken. So it really helped like establish an identity for anyone who drops into your stream for the first time when you're starting off, like, oh, this person's a fighting game streamer. So it helps them recall, like, wait, who's Inari Yoko again? Oh right, he's a fighting game streamer. When they dip into Goth for the first time, they're like, wait, what's this Goth stream again? Oh right, Animal Crossing. And since they are very much involved in Animal Crossing content, or sometimes fighting game content, that's something that their mind will like subconsciously, make them remember. Like, oh, you're playing Animal Crossing. Like, while they're playing, it's like, wait, Goth plays this. I wonder what he's up to. When they play Tekken or Guilty Gear, oh wait, Yoko streams this. I wonder if he's playing right now. It's basically that for a period of time until you can start branching out. Because then you have this basically new followers, new viewers can now interact not just with you, but an already established community that can help them stay, so to speak. But yeah, like starting off sometimes is arguably it's not exactly the hardest, but it's the easiest to screw up, I'd like to believe. Because when you start streaming or start content creations, your choices are literally limitless, but you have to be very, I would say, deliberate in how you choose and do your content. Like, you're not just doing it because it's fun, you're not doing it because it's the in thing, you're doing it for like, you're doing it for a long-term thing. It's not just something short-term, because again, just in any service or any brand, you have to establish a very good first impression in a small market before you start to, expand and stuff. Same practice goes in content creation and streaming, I like to believe.
No, I agree. Like, the reason why I believe that, like, I was able to establish myself as an Animal Crossing streamer when I started was because, I had that goal to play Animal Crossing for 365 days, like at least an hour minimum a day. And, by the time I hit the midpoint of that, that's when I started seeing, new faces, new people. I started coming in contact with other Animal Crossing streamers and all this stuff. And to be known as well as an Animal Crossing streamer at that point in time was it was pretty big for me because I never really identified myself as like a specific sort of streamer at that time when I first started. When I first started streaming in general, I didn't really see myself as like, like a shooting an FPS kind of streamer, a casual gaming streamer. I just saw myself as a streamer. I just wanted to do things that I thought was fun. And by the time Animal Crossing was making its bigger hits around the internet, that's when I found out that, like, oh, because of what I'm doing, that's establishing me as a specific genre. And I didn't have a problem with that, honestly, because once you have that establishment, once you have that like foundation going on, it'll be a lot more easier for other people, especially newcomers, to be able to identify your sort of like levels of how you treat your content or how you would produce your content. And that does definitely help in a big step on starting a journey if ever you are a newcomer as a streamer. Definitely would be the best way to start that area, but I kind of like messed it up a little bit, but we won't go into detail about that.
I mean, if it worked, it worked.
Yeah, if it works, it works, But then, like, I would say personally, I kind of overstepped with that formula because I tried starting to bring in a little bit of new things into my streams at the time. But looking back, I would say that was a little bit too eager and ambitious of me for me to do, which honestly didn't really work out for the best in terms of like how things started to perform. Things started to slow down a little bit, and the whole issue with meta started happening. So I was just like, by the time I finished 365, technically we did 384. As soon as that was done, I was already in the talks with my team, and I'm like, all right, maybe we gotta shift gears somewhere else. But like that's its entirely whole other thing.
I mean, yeah, because when you first establish an image, you're like, no one will always remember like what you stream. So if you stream a lot of things, wait, what does Scott stream again? I forget, but in the moment they're like, I forget what he streams, they'll look for someone else that streams the thing that they are looking for. And that's the pitfall you don't want to go to. But you see, the funny part is that platforms are always evolving. And I like to think that the viewers also do, as much as the content creators do. So a lot of the advice on what works like 5 years ago could be obsolete in another 3 to 5 years. Like the whole standard of like, yeah, stick to one game first, stick to one content creation type, that might be obsolete in a few years. Like, who knows? Like, viewers might look for streamers who stream more than one game, even when they are fresh.
I agree.
Anything can change, and as a content creator and as a streamer especially, that's something you want to keep an eye out for, because you want to change. The only thing constant is change, and that applies to literally everything.
I agree. I used to say the same thing. I still say the same thing.
All right, last question for part 1. And I see this a lot on Twitter, and I hear it sometimes from my mutuals as well. Do you think making a schedule, like a weekly schedule, is essential?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say I could see both ends to this question. Personally, as of now, as of where I am right now in this point in time, I would say yes. And no, it is not just because I just started making weekly schedules. What I feel like goes on in the background of having a schedule, especially like staying dedicated to having a set time for when you start, it makes you a little bit more easily identifiable, or like you can be found a lot faster when you have a constant time restriction on yourself, because usually people would be sitting down at home, and if they knew you from a previous stream, they're gonna be like, oh, this is usually around the time I would see Goth stream or Inari stream. Let's see if they're on, and then they would check, and if you're on, boom, because you were their first thought. So I would say like having a schedule in terms of picking out what time you start, I would say that is very much essential, because that's where you're going to be able to find your audience. That's where you're going to be able to find the people who are able to view you at that certain point in time. Um, the one thing I find a little bit that can sort of like crumble that whole thing is when you have a schedule out and you have the game and you announce the game that you are going to be playing. That can be a double-edged sword, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because on one end, people are going to see what you're playing. They're going to be excited for it. They're going to want to show up. But at the other side could be like they see what you're going to play. They're not into it. They're not going to show up.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah. So, personally, what I want to do is like I try to get in the like gray area between those two circles. Like what I used to do was like, yes, I would always stream at like 9 in the morning, and since majority of my audience is North America, that's usually like 7, 8, or 9 p.m. their local time. And I would think that that's, for me, is like, it's like right after dinner. People are just unwinding after coming home from work or just relaxing. They had a full day with kids or with whatever you have. So, that's probably about the point in time where you just turn on the TV and just throw your feet up, just relax. So personally, I think like having me at that like time would be very beneficial. But I wouldn't announce the games I would play, or at least by the time like we're in the middle of my stream, I would then start saying like, oh, by the way, we're going to be checking this game out today. But I would still have that beginning of my stream to like take time to like talk to my audience. I'd be like, hey, so like, how was your day? What'd y'all get up to? I feel like having that sort of like initial interaction with your audience would entice them to stay, even if you're just about to play a game that they might not have any interest in, because it's like you're making it like a statement right there that like as you're streaming, regardless of the game you're playing, you're still wanting to have some level of interaction with your audience.
Oh yeah.
And being able to have that like sort of like in the back burner of everyone's minds, like, oh, he's talking to me, I should like stick around and see like where this conversation goes. Or like, when they would start bringing things up, I'd always be all like, oh shit, like I had something like that too. Like I try to relate to them, obviously. So it definitely does help keep your audience sticking around than just like if you were to just announce what game you're playing off the bat and then like all of a sudden like your numbers aren't the same as when you were playing another game. So that's sort of like this center area I'd like to try myself in. However, like recently I did start creating a weekly schedule that also includes the games that I'm playing, and it's something that my team and I are gonna like try to test out to see if feasibility of having that would make a lot more sense rather than the sort of formula I'm working with right now. So yeah, double-edged sword.
I mean, fair. I used to do that a lot, but there was a time before Fortnite where I had like so many games to play, but how do I say this? Like I could dedicate a lot of hours for them, but I always had difficulty like, do I want to stream this today? Like I could stream this tomorrow, but like, do I want to stream this today? Or like you scheduled something and you're like, wait, I kind of want to stream this today instead of the game I already scheduled. And when you make a weekly schedule with the games already in mind, even if it's not detrimental to your numbers, like you as a content creator, you're like, suddenly you wake up Wednesday, you're like, yeah, I scheduled Animal Crossing, but for some reason, after streaming it for 2 days straight, like, I want to stream something else. Like, even though you scheduled it for Monday to Wednesday is Animal Crossing. Monday to Tuesday goes really well. And you're like, you know what? At the end of Tuesday, you're like, can't wait to do this again tomorrow. Wake up the next day, you're literally, suddenly I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, you got it. I mean, like nowadays, I need to be in a specific like mood just to play Animal Crossing, so I totally understand.
And yeah, like even if your viewers don't mind, you as a streamer, you like one, you feel bad, and two, if you compromise for your viewers, you feel bad. Like for
Mm.
example, like I gotta do this for the viewers, but as you play, that there's that thing in your body that like kicks you like you don't want to do this. Then you, why did you stream something else?
Hmm. Yeah, it I've had some streams where what I've noticed is that my mood, depending on what game I play, would always shift, and if my mood shifts, that would easily reflect off of the energy I give out to the stream.
Mm.
Like literally a couple days ago, I went through 3 different video games just because I
Nice.
went live and I just didn't know what to play. I didn't know what I was in the mood for, but I had to go live, you know? So like I feel like at that point, you know, that's when I start like getting into my audience. Like I'm like, oh, I really just like am not in the right mindset for this game right now. We could totally do something else. What would you guys prefer? Usually going down that path would also still like entice your audience to like still keep in and like give, you know, because like you're asking them for advice or you're asking what they want. I do feel like that would work out, but I don't know, sometimes it just becomes to a point where you're just like, why did we even start with this, you know? And like you try to move on, but it just nags at you that you started out with something that you can't give your all to, and usually it would start like a domino effect of just having just bringing down your energy throughout the rest of your stream, you know?
And when your energy is down, your chat starts to feel down, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
And honestly, like there were several times where I had weird schedules. Like my normal schedule before was like I had a game planned or 1 or 2 games planned for each day. And then I had a rest day in between. And then for some ungodly reason, my body was just like, no, you don't need rest. You get enough rest per day. You're streaming every day now. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'll stream every day. And then there was the time when Tales of Arise released. And I had this friend, Rice to Pudding, I'll give her a shout out right now. She was streaming this game for literally... Wait, I got the name wrong. Let me delete that real quick. I want to get the Rice. Oh, no underscore. They were streaming this game for 24 hours straight. Wow. And I'm like, that's not new, but the fact that someone is streaming this game for 24 hours and like comparing the release of Tales of Arise when it was first announced, it's not like a release of a new Resident Evil game or a new Final Fantasy game for that matter. Like whenever those big games are announced, a new one like FF16, FF7 Remake Part 2, Resident Evil Village, the DLC, and then Resident Evil 4 Remake, a lot of people are hyped. But as successful as a franchise Tales is, I still consider it to be a very, like, cult following or cult classic. There's just a relatively considerable amount of people who play that game as their main, like, JRPG title, but those that do love it. And it's nice to see a lot of people who were never in the Tales franchise get in because of that game, and I was one of them. Like, I played very few Tales games because I wasn't a huge fan of the combat style and the art style. With Tales of Arise, though, it was the whole package I really wanted out of it. I wanted it to look better. I wanted it to play better. I wanted it to feel better. And that's exactly what that game did. And the first day, I did this on the weekend just to give it a try. On like a Saturday, I tried it. I lost track of how long I was playing it. And then Sunday, I was making the schedule for next week, and my mind was like, do it. do nothing but just stream only one game for that whole week. So literally, I got the thumbnail of Tales of Arise, which fittingly was like, how many party members are there in Tales of Arise? Was it 6?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, 6. Exactly, I was right. There are 6. Exactly 6 party members. So I basically listed them each as a day. I just put a day on each of their heads. Like, yeah, guys, this is my stream schedule for this week. It's nothing but Tales of Arise. Did not regret it. I had so much fun. The ones who were in my chat were still on the fence about buying the game. And the ones that were also in chat were like diehard fans of Tales. I had a good time exchanging ideas and interactions with them. But generally, yeah, there are some times where if it's a new game release, or not even a new game release, kind of like what Goth did, like, it's one thing to stream Animal Crossing for a week, a month, but to do it for a year. To do it for a year.
Look,
straight. I'm not judging, but it's
no.
I'd call it an unorthodox way. Unorthodox decision.
I tell this to anybody who like asks, like, they're always like, a whole year, what was going through your mind? Because personally, my personal relationship with Animal Crossing is just, I love the absolute hell out of that game. The first ever Animal Crossing game I played was Wild World, which was on the Nintendo DS, and I got that game when I first moved here in the Philippines 16 years ago. And it was the middle of the school semester, so we couldn't really enroll me or my brother into school yet, so we had to wait until the school year ended. And for around 5 to 6 months, I had no friends. The age gap between me and my cousins were just like, they were already like adults when I was just like in the 4th grade, and we didn't really know our neighbors that well, because in our neighborhood it's mostly retired old folk. So like literally I had no like social interaction with anyone outside of my house. But Animal Crossing was there for me. The moment I picked up Animal Crossing, I just absolutely fell in love with that game. I loved how it literally let you run wild in a forest town filled with animal NPCs that each have their own personality. And like one of them was like your best friend that would greet you on your birthday. And there's like this expansive amount of furniture that you could decorate with. And for me at that time, that was like my saving grace, because by God, was I not doing anything for those 5 to 6 months. So I don't know. It's just that game holds a very special place in my heart. So I thought to myself, I had a Nintendo Switch, and I was already all like, there damn well will be an Animal Crossing game coming out for this console. And when I get it, I'm going to stream each day without time traveling, just to share a genuine experience of playing Animal Crossing with people who aren't familiar with the series. Little did I know that so many people were already familiar with the series at that point in time. So, I guess people just started watching me because I'm the crazy guy who's playing Animal Crossing for a whole year.
I mean, that is an experience, playing Animal Crossing for streaming nothing but Animal Crossing for a year. But yeah, for me though, nowadays I gravitate around 2 games. It's just really Monhunt and Fortnite right now. I mean, even after that Fortnite week that I had where I played nothing but Fortnite for hours on end, and this was when I wasn't streaming for less than 6 hours a day anymore. I was streaming for more than that.
Yeah,
and like some people were like, "Are you doing this for both your West and local audiences?" I'm like, "No, it's simply because I can." Like I just can. I have the energy to. I don't know why, but I just do.
I still can't believe you did build mode.
I mean, it's fun. It is fun. It's not for everyone, but it's fun.
Oh yeah, I know it's not for everyone. I mean, Dip and Blue
He's not gonna dip in that, no way.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, he saw you were playing
He'll
build.
play it with friends who want to build, like me, but it's not
Yeah,
something that he would like actively look for, and that's totally fine.
I mean, like, he saw you playing build mode. He saw me playing New Leaf on my 3DS. He started questioning if he was in the wrong
Ah, yeah,
timeline.
yeah,
He
yeah,
had
he
he had
saw.
his he had his opinions.
Yeah, he did. But that's okay. Everyone has
Yeah,
their opinions.
yeah.
But yeah,
Everyone does. Everyone has their
nowadays, like
secret.
all I do though is whenever I post a weekly schedule, I post like the two games that I gravitate around, and I put a time slot for like what time I'll be streaming per day. But I don't specify if I'm streaming only Fortnite or only Tekken or any game for that matter on that specific day. Because I like to think that even if like I don't see myself not playing Fortnite regularly anytime soon. But on the off chance that I'm like, I'm not feeling Fortnite today, I want to try something else. At the very least, I did not explicitly say that I'm streaming Fortnite today. So that anyone who comes in are like, oh, you're not streaming Fortnite today? But they're not like, wait, you said you're streaming Fortnite today. Two very different messages right there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I agree.
All right. Brief intermission, a quick 5 minute like Q&A part or trivia. So anyone in chat, if you want to ask us any questions regarding the topic, please feel free to ask while we just chill here. But
Yeah.
we do have one question from Skull. He did post it in my Discord. How
Oh.
tough is it to choose a game when planning a schedule? Well, there are a lot of things that we think of our thought processes when we decide, even for one day, what are we gonna stream? Like, again, this was even before and after my Fortnite phase. Whenever I decide what game to stream, I have to balance like what is something I want to stream that chat also wants to watch. Because even though I play a lot of FF14 off stream, it's not something that my chat is looking out for right now. Especially since it's just we're at nearing the start of the next update, so we're literally like we've just exhausted the current content for the current patch. So it's just the daily grinding loop, and that's not exactly what I'd call exciting to watch. I already cleared all the Savage raids. I'm not planning on doing the Dragon Song Ultimate raid, which is fun to watch me suffer through that content, but like organizing a group for that is probably a lot harder than organizing a real meetup from people from the north and the south in Metro Manila.
Oh.
I think
Oh.
that's a lot more complicated.
Don't get me started.
I think it's easier. I honestly think it's easier to make a meetup for people from the north and the south than to find a group that wants to progress through Dragon Song Ultimate and FF14. Trust me. Because this is just like a meetup is a meetup. It's like for a one day, one time thing. But trust me, progression in Ultimate can take months. Months of the same content, which people do for hours every day. And just to give you an idea, members of my static group, static is basically a raid group. Members of my static tried twice, and they failed twice. When I say tried twice and failed twice, they tried ultimate content like 2 expansions back. It failed because of regular arguing in between members, real schedule catching up to them when they set a deadline. Like, we're only doing this for a month and a half because we cannot compromise that much of our life for this for more than 1.5 months. By the time they reach that, they're like, it's done, we're good. We can't do this anymore.
Wow.
That was then. This time I was a bit more optimistic because the problematic members before were gone. But again, there's still that possibility that someone is going to cause problems for the group. There's always a possibility.
Yeah,
I did
I mean, like
not.
with a group that big, of course.
Yeah, I did not really tune in on their progress that much because they did not stream it. I did not ask them because I know how much of a pain it is to progress through it. So, asking them every day, how did it go? It's like a reminder, how bad did it go? Like that's what they hear. But what I'm asking is, how did it go? Because I really didn't know. And when
Right.
I asked them, they told me you can't stream this. I'm like, oh no 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 no, that's my deal breaker right there. I have to stream this. It's not even just for views or anything, but that's like my coping mechanism. This is very difficult content. I need to share this with someone else so they know what I'm going through, so that while I go through with this, there's something in my head that's like, you're not really alone in this. Like, you are suffering, but people are watching you suffer, so they appreciate all the hard work you are doing.
Mm.
In a sense. But the fact that I couldn't stream it, I'm like, oh no, I'm out. I
Right.
told
No,
them good luck, and of course I told them, nope, nothing personal. Like, I won't take this personally. I completely understand why you don't want anyone streaming this. You want them to focus on the fight itself. But I'm like, are you saying... I didn't tell them this, obviously, but internally, I'm like, what? Are you telling me a person cannot stream and focus on the game at the same time? I mean, there are streamers, there are FF14 streamers that do this. Like,
Mm.
sure, you cannot give me the excuse, oh, they're big streamers. Doesn't matter if you're a big or a small streamer. The skill level and mental game is practically the same. It's very difficult content, and streaming or no, you should be able to do it. But if you can't, then deal with it. So the fact that they couldn't compromise, like, no, you can't stream this, I'm like, okay, then I'm out. Good luck. Now, I don't know if me being there would have made a difference. We'll never know because I never made it in.
Mhm.
But I was very shocked when a friend of mine told me, like, yeah, they quit. I'm like, they quit? And my
Wow.
friend was even mad that they quit because he didn't want to quit. He was mad that they quit. And I'm just like,
Man.
wow, that sucks. Because all those months, I think they tried this for like 8 weeks, and they still couldn't clear it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not even sad that you guys didn't clear it. I'm sad that you guys spent that much time, 6
And
to
then
8
just
weeks, and then you got nothing out of it. And it's not
yeah.
as easy as you just find another group that it's in the same like if you've cleared 50% of the fight, you think you can just LFG 50% progress through DSU. No, because ultimate content is very unique in the sense that you literally have to find your own strategy on how to deal with so many mechanics. And
Oh
just
god.
for those who don't know how long the fight is, it's a 15-minute fight. 15 minutes. I think there are checkpoints, but I think like the stress to go through just one is already taxing enough.
Whew.
So yeah,
Whoa.
whew, indeed.
Yeah, no, that just sounds like way too. I mean, like, yeah, no, no. Can't see
Exactly.
myself doing.
But right
No.
now, like, whenever I decide what to stream, it's very... Because I know what my viewers like and what I like, it's a lot easier now for me to decide, what's a good game to stream today. And when I say good, good for me and the viewer. That's something I always try to balance. Because there are some games in my library, like I can take a peek right now. Like, there are a couple of games in there I really want to stream, but it's not something that my viewers look forward to, and the analytics don't lie. So, I mean, I guess I can... My advice is, if there is a game that you really want to stream, but your analytics already tell you that your viewers are just not interested in that, you can find a way to add a twist to it. There are very creative things you can do to make it interesting. Like, I don't know, for example, just to, like, right off the top of my head, in Animal Crossing maybe, instead of the typical gameplay loop that you see in Animal Crossing, all you do is basically like, oh, I'm going to dig a hole in every diggable hole on this island and fill it with something just for fun. Like, it sounds like a fucking stupid idea, but when you start
Oh
doing
yeah.
it, it's well, when you start doing it, like, wait, this is actually kind of fun. So those kinds of like stupid twists or ideas you have in your head might actually be fun if you try to put it into practice. But of course,
Yeah.
you have to think and be very creative in how you do it. But I would say the most common formula is like take the gameplay loop or the formula of a game and turn it upside down. So for example, in Elden Ring, if people expect you to get hit, try a run where you don't get hit. Or as I have done, try clearing a boss without getting hit.
Oh no. I mean, like it's a creative twist, you
It
know,
is a
because like
creative twist.
it's
Or
it's
you know,
it's something.
in a Resident Evil game, I'll try to clear this game without shooting a single zombie.
Oh no. It's,
It's a pain. Yes, it is a
it
pain.
is. I mean, like, yeah, because like if there is a zombie you need to attack,
I
just
mean,
throw a
the
grenade. You're
game
not
literally
shooting them.
gives you guns and bullets for zombies, and then you're just like, I ain't using them. What? Why? Because you're like, I want to do something new. That's why.
No,
That's
yeah,
why.
like one streamer I actually like is a very really cool example of this. His name is Kiru HS, and he does a lot of speed runs with Need for Speed games or racing games in general. And he has this thing called the Need for Speed Marathon where he plays nothing but Need for Speed games, but there's always a twist to them. One of his challenges he does is one challenge he recently did was a no upgrade challenge.
Oh.
So basically, he is not allowed to spend money to upgrade the car's performance.
Someone who's played NFS, that is very integral.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And then before, I think it was when he had his playthrough of Underground and Underground 2, he did a thing where if he loses any race, he has to sell that car and get a new one.
Oh, like it's kind of like a Pokemon Nuzlocke.
Yeah, exactly,
it's
like a
Nuzlocke. Wow.
It's like these challenges he does is like, you know, very creative, especially like because I mean, like I played Need for Speed on stream, so people know I do like racing games as well. So to be able to see those kind of twists on a racing game that I wouldn't think of, those are really creative ideas. Those are true creative ways to like give a complete twist to the content that you're going for, because they're like, if people know you for playing like a racing game, they're like, oh, he's probably just gonna be doing another speed run of like Most Wanted, and then it turns out he can only use one type of car every race. Like that's pretty twisted, you know.
Or
flip the game on its
try
back.
to complete Most Wanted with the first car that you could choose.
Oh, that gave me bad chills, man. That gave me bad chills.
Literally, the final boss is on a decked out BMW. You're just in a Honda Civic, like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking go, bitch.
Not even. You're like in a friggin' Volkswagen Golf, and you're like, all right, 6 gears, let's have some fun. Oh my god.
All right. That's it for the intermission, but again, for anyone in the chat who wants to ask us anything, feel free. Just put your question on stream chat, and we will entertain it when we can. Okay, part 2. First question. So what goes through your mind when you decide what to stream?
Damn, what does go through? Well, I mean, like, since I stream in the morning, it's literally like one of my first few thoughts. It's like I wake up, I let Coda out, I put his food in his bowl, I'm mixing it with the wet food, a little bit of water, put it down, come back to my room, turn on my setup, sit down, and just like contemplate about my existential crises, and then I come to the thought like, oh yeah, what am I streaming today? But I don't know, it's it's kind of something that's like, you know, especially like if you had a stream the previous day, you know, you always have that option like, should I continue what I was going with back on the stream from yesterday, or should I like try to do something new or bring back something old? You know, you have all these avenues that you can go to, but you have to also keep in mind of like what your audience would typically expect, especially if you don't have like a set schedule or like a set game schedule that you follow. You know, like everything's just literally open. Um, if you really have like again, if you really just don't really have a direct idea of what to do, you know, you can all there's always the option of just starting as a just chatting stream, and while you're catching up with your with chat while people start coming in, that's when you can be all like, so what do you guys want to do today, what are we feeling today, you know? That's something, that's an avenue I personally go down a lot lately, mainly because um I feel like trying to find another niche, so to speak, in terms of my content is kind of really make me hit the back burners on like what's new that I could bring to my stream that my audience would like. And thank God though I was able to figure out how to stream content from my 3DS, because that does open a lot more avenues for different games. Like just today, I introduced Tamagotchi Life, and we had an absolute ball playing that game. Like it was fun, it was new. It's new to me because I was never able to play it before. And it's new to chat because not a lot of people in chat have like their own 3DSs, or like they never picked up Tamagotchi Life. And the people that have picked up Tamagotchi Life and see someone streaming it, they're like, wow, someone's actually streaming this. I want to check them out. So it's able to like open up so many new avenues. So personally, I would say the thoughts that go in my mind is what is something that I will enjoy, whilst thinking of what's something that my audience would join. And when I say audience, that's you know, the usuals that would watch you, as well as possible newcomers that are going to be watching.
Well, for me, I always have a step-by-step thing that I do. Step one, I always ask myself, what am I in the mood to play? And even if it's just on the day itself, I decide, regardless if it's that or the week ahead, I always ask myself, what am I in the mood for? Because I like to believe that the mood of the stream is set by the mood of the streamer. If the streamer is in a very negative, very bad mood, then the stream is going to feel very off, very bad, not a chill stream. If they are very energetic, very chill, very happy, that's the vibe that the stream is going to have regardless of what they play. They could be playing the scariest game, like I don't know, like classic Resident Evil or Clock Tower, Fatal Frame, Silent Hill. But if they're in a very chill mood, then the stream's gonna feel very chill. But if you are like in a very horrible, like you're pissed off or you're just low energy or depressed for some reason, you could be playing like the happiest game like Mario Kart or Animal Crossing, but it feels melancholic as shit because your mood is that mood. Doesn't matter what you're playing. So you really have to ask yourself, what am I in the mood for? If you're in the mood for a certain genre or a certain game, your mood is already up, which means that the stream itself is going to have a very good mood. And then you ask, what is something that chat wants to watch or whatnot? And when you come to that, and then I look at my stream, I like to believe I sort of found a balance there, because I'm doing not just like for a long time I'm doing only zero build Fortnite. But I sort of feel like other people in chat are very curious about, is build actually fun? Because, of course, like, when they see build Fortnite, they're like, I'm not touching that. And I was of the same mindset as they are. But then when you play zero build for so long, you're like, what else? What's new? What next? And the next part is, well, builds. So I tried that, and the fact that Blue himself was like, not gonna lie, I can see the hype whenever I watch you build in Fortnite. I'm like, coming from someone who is not even considering getting into build mode, That's a lot. That,
Yeah.
that means a lot. So you already have that idea that even those that play zero build and will only play zero build, the fact that you're like, you know what, you make build mode look kind of hype. I'm like, okay, thank you. So that's something you can dabble into, you can use. Um, Another also is for Monster Hunter, because of Sunbreak releasing. There's so many people out there who are very newbies to Monster Hunter, haven't played Monster Hunter since World. They have Rise but not Sunbreak because they were very disappointed in Rise, which I can see why. So they are very curious. And of course, some of them ask me for my builds in Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, and whatnot. I happily share them, and of course, I tell them I am not a gear optimizer. I don't have the best builds. I just have really fun builds. That's it. So I think I can connect more because I think there are more casual players than hardcore players. So it's good to try to balance how much of your content will pander to either one. And I mean, the easiest example I would say is, well, Fortnite. A lot of people who play Fortnite casually do not play builds because builds is very sweaty. Um, and I say this even though I am planning to do more competitive Fortnite next week, and it's just really to delve into, and it's not like something I plan to do long term, but I do want to show the Foxtrots what it's like because I know they're not gonna try it, so I want to show them what it's like just so they have an idea. So
Yeah.
that's one angle you can take when you want to play something and you're not sure if chat doesn't want to watch it. You can at least like ask yourself, is this a game that they are never gonna touch? If the answer is yeah, they're not gonna touch it, you ask yourself, are they at least curious about it? If they are curious about it, I say go for it. Because you can try to level with them and say, yeah, I understand why some of you guys don't want to get into Elden Ring because this mechanic is fucking bullshit. I did everything right and I still died. But then you can also say, this is why it feels so good playing Elden Ring because even after all that bullshit, I learned and oh my god, it feels satisfying to defeat a boss and make them look like crap. So again, like, you know, a lot of people are not gonna get into Souls games, but hey, you can at least show them what it's like to play one.
Yeah, because
That's
I'm pretty sure like there's also some shared level of curiosity when it comes between, you know, the content creator and their audience. Because you know, obviously you guys would they both would share the same interests. So usually if like you would throw something out there like, have you guys heard of like blah blah blah?
the
Majority of the
critically
time,
acclaimed
you know,
MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with a free trial up to level 60 that includes the entire the award-winning expansion Heaven's Sword with no time restrictions.
yes.
Yeah, have you
That.
heard? Have you heard? Have you heard?
Oh, I've heard. All right. No, but yeah, you know, because like, if you show some level of curiosity, and so does your audience would share that level of curiosity. Of course, people would definitely like watching it. It was crazy though that like when I started playing the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, comes with a free trial up to level 60 and includes the entirety of Realm Reborn, the award-winning expansion pack Heaven's Sword with no time restrictions.
Good
It
job.
was so crazy to figure out, thank you, that some people who were watching my streams when I first started trying it out tried it out themselves, you know? It's like one viewer that would always come to mind that she would literally watch anything no matter what I'm doing. Her name is Boob Smack. Amazing name. I know, but like she's such a sweetheart. Like she would always tell me like, you know, play whatever you want to play. I'm still gonna watch whatever. Like she would always like hit me with that reinforcement. But like she also gave Final Fantasy a try when I started giving it a try. She gave Fortnite a try when I gave it a try. It's really awesome to know that like there is that level of shared curiosity when it comes to new games between the streamer and the audience. Because that just means like, you know, if you guys end up getting into it, then there's clearly a new niche in your like content that your audience would get into. And then because you get into a new form of content, you're gonna get new people within the community, possibly like-minded individuals or toxic people. You gotta filter them out. But once you get through that, you know, you realize that, hey, you know, you could try dabbling back to what you used to dabble into, and the people who came from that new sort of content are like, oh, I'm into this too. So it's like a little tennis game back and forth of like new, old, but then like everyone still comes together.
I'm getting a lot of Fortnite flashbacks from this. I decided on a random FPS day, I was playing Siege, I was playing Valorant, I was playing Apex Legends. And then for the life of me, I'm just like, you know what? I think I'll give Zero Build a try. In a span of 3 hours, I got 3 Crown Royales. I bought the Fortnite Crew Pack, not just the Battle Pass, the Fortnite Crew Pack, because I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a regular on my channel. I'm gonna play this regularly. I played with 2 Foxtrots. That's Senna and freaking Avery Catbird. And then it started to spill over because Chaos and Sheikah could not believe that I was playing Fortnite. I told them it's Zero Build, it's fun. They're like, really? I'm like, yes, try it out. And then Kappa and Roa got roped in, and ever since then, Roa has been like, fuck you, Fox. Like, and Skull, who was done with Fortnite, also tells me once in a while, fuck you for getting me back into this game. And then it just spread. Like, not directly from me, indirectly. Like, Chaos and Sheikah are the biggest, like, contributing factors here. They literally tell anyone that they encounter, hey, you play Fortnite? I'm like, oh no.
No, I know. Blue, Dippin' Blue was the one that got me into it. Fucking mad lad.
And you can't deny it. It's hella fun.
It is. It is. Like, I can't. Like I see the enjoyment of it. I love it. It's like, it's new. It's crazy. It's awesome. So many friends are playing it. It's great. Do I see myself playing it a lot more? Yes. But do I see myself playing it on stream?
Not yet.
You know, like there's still that like debate on like if it's for stream or not. But
not yet.
I just
like if you're
I got roped into this, man. Like
if you're still wrestling, if you're still wrestling with the idea, and yes, pun intended, because John Cena is a skin in Fortnite, but like, but yeah, like if you're wrestling with this idea, then just say not yet or not sure. Like I honestly believe that if you see yourself questioning, like if you're even leaning more to like 80% no, I'm not streaming this. If even until it's 100%, you still have to say not yet or not entirely sure.
No, yeah, but I mean,
because
like, what I'm saying is,
I'm pretty sure July 2021 Inari, if I asked him, "Are you gonna stream Fortnite?" Wait, fuck no. I'd like not just a no. I'm a fuck no.
Dude, no, yeah, same. Yeah,
same. I'm not streaming Fortnite.
It's
no,
like, I'm not touching
way.
Epic Games. Epic Games is not coming on my computer. 2022. Well, shit.
And then mid-May 2022, I'm like, fuck. What have I become?
You gotta take a long look in the mirror as you see Fortnite just installing from Epic Games. Just like, what have you done?
And then even Elmo got roped in. He doesn't even play FPS or Battle Royales.
He doesn't!
And he fell in hard. And out of all the ones that we have convinced directly or indirectly, he is the one that fell hard into Fortnite.
Oh, fucking yeah. Without a doubt. Like what I love about Elmo though is like when he first started like streaming, becoming a content creator, like we would play like random games together. Like we've done Sea of Thieves, we've done not Fortnite. We done like Halo when the multiplayer came out. Like we were finding all these things, and then lo and behold, as soon as Fortnite came in, I have seen that man change.
Yeah.
With a soundboard.
Yup.
And I look like Elmo, you out there.
Images,
you, like,
images you can hear Elmo's profile picture. You can
like,
already
Elmo,
hear.
Like, look, I love you, bro. I love you. You out there. I love you as a brother. I'm gonna start a petition to take away your soundboard. I gotta do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's not just Elmo's. People also want to take Chaos's soundboard away.
Oh my god! Wait, who's starting that petition? I'll sign it. I'll sign it right now.
Because Chaos has been collecting sound clips of streamers. The next time Chaos is in your chat, you better be careful. Because he's gonna clip something, turn it into an MP3, and then turn it into a soundbite and a soundbar, and he's gonna use it.
Oh my god, I think he was clipping some shit like a week ago. Damn
because,
it.
like,
I didn't know!
He did it for me when I said, today is Friday in California. And then he played it on stream. I'm like, what? You recorded that? Why? Why?
Oh my god.
And all because of Fortnite?
Dude, I don't know. It's like when I transitioned from Facebook to Twitch, you know, on Facebook, when I was doing Animal Crossing, I was family friendly because people were telling me, oh, I let my kids watch you while I'm at work or when I'm busy cleaning the house. So I had a filter on.
Mm.
And then the moment I went to Twitch, things change. And I feel like that's exactly what I'm seeing now. Everybody was doing their own thing. Like, they were playing Strive. They were playing the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. They were playing Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Like Halo.
And then, man, like,
Fortnite came along.
I remember the opening to Iron Man 3. We create our own demons. I remember when Unagi was an art streamer, just a very wholesome, not toxic Southeast Asian art streamer.
Yeah, and then she
plays
plays
Fortnite
once.
And then there's this clip. It's like, why are you running, you fucking pushy? I'm like, what have we done? What have we done to this innocent eel?
You're creating monsters. You're creating your own demons.
We created a monster. A very scary but adorable monster.
Drew Frankenstein. Somebody needs to write this down.
And then Risa. Freaking Risa. A really cracked Tekken and Eternal Return streamer. Like, she played Fortnite and then all of a sudden, even at 2 a.m., when Elmo is still streaming, Risa pops in like, are you still playing? And Elmo knew, just get over here. She joined the party. I'm like, oh my god, no fucking way!
At 2 in the morning?
2 in the morning! It's like that meme from SpongeBob, you know? Reese's like, oh boy, 3 a.m. Fortnite. Oh no!
See, look, you guys, what y'all have done is you played with fire, and now we got a forest fire just as bad as California going on right now. Oh my god. You guys are burning it down. And
it was just all on that fateful Friday. When a fox was just vibing so well, like in a too good a vibe, that he was
the vibe
willing.
Was too good.
The vibe was too good. I was willing to dig up one of the worst vibes I ever got from a game. That was Fortnite. You know what? I'll give this game a second chance because I'm in a good mood. Oh my god.
You opened Pandora's box.
You opened Pandora's box.
You opened it, and you know what?
And unironically, it turned Kappa into a regular and like a closer friend than we already were. Because we were just mutuals. Like, sometimes Kappa would drop in whenever I was playing Strive. But more often, I see him in other lobbies that I play at. Like maybe Senna's lobby or Chaos's and Chico's lobby sometimes. But for some reason, it was not a fighting game that turned Kappa into a mutual and a close friend. It was freaking Fortnite. I don't know how.
Look, man, video games, like, they do things. But Fortnite is something else.
It is something else. Alright. Next question.
God.
So, what difficulties do you have whenever you decide what to stream?
What difficulties do I have? Um, I mean, okay, like I said, like your um the streamer's mood would definitely affect how chat and the stream would be carried out.
Mm.
So typically, if I choose a game that I'm just like a little too burned out with, I already know that, like, if I already know I'm not gonna have a good time, that my chat's not gonna have a good time.
Fair.
So if it really does kind of hurt when, like, let's say I asked like Discord, like, oh, let's poll it, what game do you guys want me to play, and they choose a game that I'm not that too inclined to do. I kind of feel like, not only did I set myself up for that kind of situation, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, I have to power through it now because I don't want to disappoint anybody. But it just, yeah, it's really hard to be able to, like, still have that positive energy going, even though, like, something of that situation would happen, and you just end up just feeling like, there's not much you can do left after that.
I mean,
So
crude metaphor. I mean, it's like a fart. If you force it hard enough, it'll become shit.
oh yeah, no, never force your farts, chat. Don't do it. Don't. All right. If you got to fart, you're fart. You'll know. All right. Sometimes you can catch it, but most times you can't.
Don't
and
force
no, that
it.
That is not by experience.
Yeah, if you wanna fart but you just ain't feeling it, don't. Just wait. It'll come out.
Yeah.
So
don't force things.
If you want to play a game but you're just not feeling it, just don't. Play something else. Or better yet, don't stream. It's alright to take a day off. It's alright to take a day off.
Exactly. Taking days off was something I wasn't familiar with back in Facebook. Again, 365. Like, I started baiting my audience too. Like, on day 365, I was all like, this is it. This is the last day. I am going to finally take a weekend. I'm going to take a weekend off, and I'm going to have a good time just not doing anything. The next day, I go live with Animal Crossing. Literally, my chat for the first, like, 10 minutes was like, stop it. Get some help. And I was all like, welcome to day 366. And they're all like, you
should have gone for the full mile and just went to 420.
I was thinking about it. I really did. I was thinking about it, but then life was sort of like catching up on me, and I was
finally
like, okay, now I need to, like, actually take a break here.
Yeah.
And then everyone's all like, fine.
Finally.
And then I post on Instagram that I'm playing New Leaf on my 3DS, and they're just like,
fuck.
What the fuck are you doing? They're like, do you know what a break is?
Well, for me, the difficulties for what to stream, well, as Goth mentioned earlier, for sure, mood. Definitely the mood. Like, it can be a game that you really play a lot on your channel. Like, for example, Goth could, we know Goth as an Animal Crossing streamer. It could be that game that he loves to play on stream, but for some reason he's just not feeling it. He's not gonna play it. And weirdly enough, it could be a game that he doesn't want to play, but for some reason he's in the mood for it. He's gonna do it. I mean, me and Fortnite. The first day that I played Fortnite. Yeah. Best example I have for myself. It's like, no, this was in the never stream or try this game again category. Here I am in the, no, you're gonna play and stream this game every day now. But yeah, one is mood. The other, I would say, also is a combination of energy and time. Because even if you're in the mood to play a game, if you just don't have the energy or the time for it for that specific day or week, there's literally nothing you can do. And when we're talking about energy and time, it can be a plethora of things. It could be ACADS, it could be work, lack of sleep, or like there's just way too many chores you have to do for a couple of days, responsibilities, obligations, etc. It can be anything, and they're all valid. They're all valid, especially if streaming is not even your primary source of income. When it's not like your job, I mean, it can be your job. You're just gonna have to work hard for it. But like, if it's not your job, if it's just a hobby, it's okay to take some time away from it, especially when you need to restart your whole body and your whole mind from the grind itself. And again, it might sound hypocritical because like I'm pretty sure some of you, Yoko, you've been streaming for God knows how many days consecutively with no day offs and 10 hours plus per day. And I'm just gonna say, thing is, I have the mood, I have the energy, and I have the time. If I see any valid excuse to take a day off, I will. And honestly, the only excuse I can see is Rev Major. Because I'm gonna participate, and I can't bring my rig to the hotel room and stream from there. I don't know if the internet's gonna cut it. So
Probably not.
yeah, so I can't stream for those 2 days because I don't have the need. I don't have the needs to stream it. I don't have the rig. I don't have the internet connection. I don't have the setup. I just don't have it. So yeah, that's the only time I won't stream those 2 days. Or you know, that 1 week where I had no internet for like 5 days? Good lord.
Oh my god, yeah. No, I saw you all over Twitter on that when I was still in LA.
I was depressed. I was legitimately depressed because
I would be too.
It made me realize just how much I love my Foxtrots and how much of my life the community has become a part of. So I'm like, damn, I miss them so much.
No, I feel the same way. Like, coming out of doing like 365, 384 days consecutively, you know, when I started taking day offs regularly, I hated how I just couldn't get the idea of wanting to stream out of my head, you know? Like,
Same.
I knew that I was on a day off. I knew that I was not supposed to do anything, but I don't know. It just felt like that there was a void, okay? Like, lack for a better word, there was a void.
There was a void, yeah. And
that, like, yeah, you know, you just want to stream, you want to, like, and talk to people, your community, and all that.
And when there's nothing you can do, like, there is a weird silence to it. Like, that was a time where there was a time where it felt, it's not even the fact that I wasn't streaming that it felt weird. Like, it felt weird when I couldn't hear chaos popping off. I couldn't hear Sheikah complaining about something. I couldn't hear Blue molding about a fighting game or a rage quitter. I couldn't hear Kappa talking shit in a fighting game. I couldn't hear. Did I even meet Unagi by that time? No, I didn't. I didn't meet Unagi. Damn. But yeah, like the sounds that I hear every day on stream, it felt so weird when I couldn't hear that. It felt off. Yeah. It felt like no, I'm not complete without hearing this shit. I can't.
I'm with you on that 100%. You know, like I don't hear like a sudden Star Wars Cantina playing in the background.
Yeah, that thing.
Like, I don't know. It's so weird because like you're already at that rhythm of already doing something daily, or just like, you know, your body is already used to it, your mind is used to it. You expect these things to happen, and when you pull yourself out of that equation, it's like going cold turkey. You know, like you just suddenly feel that quietness, that emptiness. It's such a distinct feeling that for some reason you can only explain through like other people who are just either very active in your own community or have their own community as well.
Or to use a metaphor, it's like when you move to another country for the first week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, when you move to Japan and you're like, wait, where's the noisy Taho guy streaming Taho on the street? Or where is the traffic noises of like bad Metro Manila traffic that I don't hear?
God, dude, yeah. Like when,
right?
I was in LA, it's all like, okay, I hear screaming, but it's not Taho, it's the crackhead down the road. But like it's still different, you know?
I know, right? So the fact that even those noises that you've been used to, and you can't hear them for even more than a day, it feels so weird.
It does. Right? Absolutely does.
All right. Next question. So, do you have one or two games that you make sure you stream a lot because it's something that is on brand or identifiable about your channel?
Uh, well, as of recent, with me and my team, like I said, we're doing like this somewhat of a restructure, a reform to like my formula that I'm going through with streaming.
Mm.
What we decided on shifting with is going into like the area of casual life sim games, because my audience knows me for, of course, Animal Crossing. And to be able to branch out to other games that either share the same formula or relate to that formula, it wouldn't be too drastic of a change of content for my audience to just be like, this isn't something I'm used to. So it's like easing them in. So definitely I would have to say, yeah, it's more on wanting to be easily identifiable rather than like saying on brand. I wouldn't say it's me staying on brand. My brand would just be fucking around in a game, trying to break it, ending up breaking it, and just having a big laugh about it. But
I
and that
mean,
can happen with any game,
yeah, any game you can.
Yeah, but
And
like
newsflash, like FF14 will have an Animal Crossing content
I
next month.
I was just about to ask you.
It's next month. It's next month.
This next month, shit! I gotta get a house.
No. The good thing is, it is instanced. Everyone has one. You don't need to buy a house. You don't have to go through housing savage, as we love to call it. You don't have to win the lottery to get a lot and then the money for the house. No, you're just gonna get it. Because it is content. Island Sanctuary is content that was designed for everyone to be able to get. So it's going to be instant. Basically, it's not something that people can easily access from the public, but you can invite friends over to check it out and stuff. So yeah, basically, even for it when it was first conceptualized, people are already calling it Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing, yeah, it's Animal Crossing, and FF14.
Thank you for sharing. Hold up. A meeting with my team later, just to solidify some restructuring going on here.
Well, that's why I look forward to streaming FF14 again next month, because that's one of the content that I'm looking forward to. It's casual content, but hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, going back on like having it on brand or identifiable, I do feel like having that sort of like chill space, because I treat my streaming platform as a safe space for anybody to join in and be themselves, and to just like let go of all the BS that's happening around in the world, just so that they can hang out. I always try to keep it with a game that I personally know that I can just chill out with and possibly chill out with other people. So definitely having it be one of your identities, or being a part of your identity as a content creator, would very much have a big impact on your audience and your content in general.
Yeah. And in addition to that, also, I would say that if you even compare any streamer to another streamer, you have two identities. You have, well, not identities, sorry, identifying factors. You have the content, and then the content creator themselves. So let's use Shroud as an example. Content creator wise, Shroud is very chill, very informative, very cracked at games. His content is mainly FPS games. So you're not really gonna see him play Animal Crossing, F14, fighting games. No. But if he were, his persona is still the same. He's very chill, he gives criticisms, fair ones, and he gives his opinion, and he has a very chill tone and disposition. He's not a rage streamer or whatever. No, he's a chill person. But for me, I would say that my brand as a streamer, again, my whole goal as Inari Yoko is really to just give good vibes in this world that is plagued by bad vibes. That's what I want to do. But whenever people recall my channel, they'll always recall fighting games, Fortnite, FPS, Monster Hunter. That's what they know from my channel. And like, I mean, even Doctor Disrespect, for example, like he could stream anything and he'd be a rager, but he is known for battle royales. Like that's all, if not 99% of what you'll see on his YouTube channel is that. That's it. But his content creator brand is consistent in that he is still a rager, he is skilled, and I wouldn't say borderline toxic, but he is very esports like gamer, I would say. But yeah, that's the thing that you have. Those are the two identifying factors that you have as your channel. So I would say for myself that I wouldn't even consider. Would I call myself a Fortnite streamer? I mean, I play zero build and build, but I don't want to consider that. I don't want to consider myself a Fortnite streamer yet. Not because it's Fortnite, but like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't earned that yet. Like I play it a lot, but I feel like I haven't earned that yet. But I
I get
still
what you.
think if I were to be identifiable, it would still definitely be fighting games and FPS. Because that is the first two things that I mentioned whenever someone raids me and it's someone I haven't met before. I always say fighting games and FPS games. I don't even say Fortnite first. Fortnite is just part of the FPS genre, but I always say I'm a fighting game FPS streamer. And then I tell what fighting games I play, and then the FPS games that I play. And I add Monster Hunter there because I also play Monster Hunter, and of course, the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with the free trial up to level 60 that includes the entirety of a Remember board and the award-winning expansion Heaven's Sword with no time restrictions. I include that because I do play that a lot. I think I earned that because of how much I play it. But for Fortnite, although I play it a lot, I feel that I haven't earned it. I mean, you could spend 200 hours, 300 hours playing a game, but if you feel like you haven't earned the right to call yourself, yeah, I'm a blank game streamer, then I don't know. You'll know when you can call yourself that when you know it. And you'll just have to keep at it. Just I would say be confident in your brand. And I honestly think that that is the most important part. You have to be confident in your brand. If you see yourself as an Animal Crossing streamer, a fighting game streamer, a Fortnite streamer, a Monster Hunter streamer, art streamer, doesn't matter. If you're very confident in that, keep to it. You don't want to confuse your regular audience and your new audience with like, wait, weren't you a fighting game streamer? Why are you why are you streaming this and that? Like unless you explicitly say like, well, I did have a long hiatus from fighting games because I felt burnt out. Not to say that fighting games were bad. No, fighting games were still great. Are still great. But I needed some time off. That's why I focused more on FPS games, Elden Ring, and now Fortnite and Monster Hunter because I needed time away from my favorite genre, which is fighting games. And Rev Major and me asking the Foxtrots if they want me to participate was the one that reignited that interest in like, you know what, fine, I'll do this again. I'll grind for it. Sure, no problem. And of course, when you are known as something streamer, if you're gonna take a break from it, you owe it to your audience and your following to tell them that you are taking a couple of time off from it. Because I mean, that's how they know you. That's primarily what they watch you for. I mean, for example, there are a lot of big FF14 streamers that feel trapped. Like all of their hundreds of viewers watch them just for FF14. And I hope they don't feel scared of losing their support if they try other games. No, they honestly, you shouldn't. Because I think your mental and physical state as a streamer is much more important than the integrity of your brand. Because no matter how Like no matter what challenge your brand faces, as long as you're physically and mentally sound, I think you can tackle it. Like let's say that your brand, the genre that your brand has revolved around is starting to get stale. Like there was a time where Fortnite streamers lost a lot of relevance because Fortnite's popularity just started to dip really hard. So they had to try other battle royales, other games, but some just couldn't let it go because they're like, no, like my millions of subscribers on YouTube follow me for Fortnite content. I can't just ditch that. We're not saying you're gonna ditch it. You're just gonna space yourself away from it, you know? And I honestly think that, especially in streaming and content creation or anything like job related or whatever, it's always a good idea not to put all your eggs in one basket. Do not commit that mistake. No matter how successful it is, like even if your great success is in like again fighting games, ASMR, Animal Crossing, Fortnite, try to branch out a bit. Just so that when that genre, and trust me, like I said, the only thing constant is change. Maybe right now Fortnite is really popular because of zero build, but it's only a matter of time until people like ride out the hype of zero build. So you gotta find either a new twist to make it interesting again, or add something else to your formula as a streamer. So yeah, you could be enjoying your months of like explosive popularity for doing ASMR, but um there's going to be more people doing ASMR and more like newcomers that people want to check out. So other than ASMR, don't forget to try something else, something new. Like sure, and you can even keep yourself in the same genre even. So if you are comfortable, like for example, Goth, who's very comfortable in like sim like sims like games like Animal Crossing, he can totally try, like he said, Tomodachi Life, or I don't know, unironically he could try Sims. I don't know, he can, I'm pretty sure he can find a way to fuck up in the most hilarious way.
Oh, as if I don't play Sims already.
Exactly. I mean, it's still, I still love the meme. Cook salad burns down the kitchen. I'm like, how do you burn down the kitchen when you're preparing salad?
Oh,
But
my favorite meme is pick up baby, put onto barbecue.
oh yeah, yeah. So
Best
yeah,
meme
you can
ever.
still keep yourself in that same genre. So um like for example, if you are an art streamer and you don't want to do art but you still want to get involved in art, you could do like an art critique or an art review, or you react to a bunch of art related stuff. That's still within your brand because your experience in doing that kicks in, and it gives your viewers a nice interesting perspective. Like it's still your same brand, art, but it gives a new perspective for them to see you from. Like they don't see you now as someone creating art. They see you as someone critiquing art. That's an interesting take on your brand. So like someone like me who plays a lot of Tekken, which is not a 2D game, like I'm really going to go full steam ahead with Street Fighter 6 next year, and I really look forward to sharing that with the Foxtrots, because like I'm pretty sure most of them know me for playing Tekken than any other fighting game that I have played on my channel. But like I think they'd be interested to see what it's like for a Tekken player to delve in a complicated fighting game such as Street Fighter 6. So yeah. Okay, penultimate question. What are your thoughts on the overall idea of planning streams beforehand?
I'm sorry for a
It's
little
okay.
distraction here.
Adorable distraction. It's okay.
Thank you. So that's about planning an idea stream beforehand. Honestly, I do think like when you do plan a stream, it can be from any sort of like aspect, from what game you're gonna play, all the way up to like if you have like some tidbits you plan on like discussing with your audience, or like a little announcement, or such as that. Oh, thanks for um I really do think there is some sense of relevance to wanting to have at least some sort of like idea of how your flow is going to turn, or like what direction you want to bring your stream to that day.
Hmm.
Because when you have that like mental drive on what direction you want to put your streams to, it definitely does make a difference to rather than having it just like like when you just wing it or just do it like out of randomness. What I try doing is I always try keeping myself to that like formula I was talking about. Talk with my stream first for a little bit, get them engaging for a while, talk about the game we're gonna play, talk to them more, and then jump into the game like that. That's my plan. And what I another way to take it like a lot further is when I have my monthly event of Spooktoberfest,
Mhm.
where that's where majority of my brain power goes to, because I schedule for the whole month of games that we're going to be playing, ways to be able to have my audience still be able to interact with me while we're doing so many different games at once. And it really does make a very strong difference to when you have that sort of plan all written down, so rather than just being all like, oh, we're just going to play scary games for a whole month.
Mhm.
Like there's really having a specific drive, a specific direction you want to bring streams to, and that does definitely have a huge impact on which direction your content goes.
Very, very, very good point. Um, as for me, the idea of planning streams beforehand, like again, I'm using Fortnite here as an example. For that Friday, I plan to stream nothing but FPS games. FPS, just nothing but shooters involved. So I was really in that whole mindset of like playing Valorant, playing Rainbow Six Siege, playing Apex Legends. And because I was in that shooty mindset, that was the only reason why I'm like, I gave Street Fighter a chance. I think I should give Fortnite a chance. If I was playing something else that day, if I wasn't doing like an FPS only stream that particular day, I honestly don't think I would have gotten into Fortnite. Would have been a completely different thing. But because like I scheduled on that Friday, FPS Friday, for FPS Friday, I want to do like just FPS games. So I was playing Siege, I was playing Valorant, I was playing Apex Legends, I was comparing between the three, and I was once again like molding how we are not getting a support in Apex Legends again. So I'm just like, or no, I don't think it was announced yet who Newcastle yet. No, but I was just molding like we only have two supports. I swear to fucking god. That's basically me playing Apex Legends. So I was frustrated, but having also fun playing Apex Legends, and I'm like, I think I should give Fortnite a chance. And here we are. So there are a
Here we
lot of
are.
things that when you plan, there are just some happy accidents that you never foresee happen. And like again, there is a delicate balance of going through with the plan you you're not in the right mindset or mood for, and completely abandoning it because you're definitely not in the right mindset or the mood for. There's a delicate balance between the two. Like there are some days where you are willing to compromise, like that particular day. That was not the first time I had an FPS day. I had FPS Fridays several times, or like a day where I do nothing but FPS. Not once did I consider reinstalling Fortnite. Never. But it was just that one day because I was in that mood where like, okay, yeah, Valorant's new agent, hella fun. Rainbow Six Siege new season, hella fun. Apex Legends, my god, we only have two supports. We should try Fortnite. It's very mysterious, but do not underestimate. I would say this: do not underestimate what a scheduled, like what a planned stream can do. Like, of course, I wouldn't say it's 100% important. No. Like, I would say what's more important than a planned stream is your streaming quality. And yes, Blue, I am giving you some help here. Like, the quality of your audio, your mic, really important. Your video quality, your mood, your disposition, your overall vibe, the game that you're playing, that's way more important than having a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
If you have nothing else to worry about in that department when it comes to streaming quality, then you can worry about planning your stream.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost like buying a house. Instead of worrying about shit, what furniture are we gonna get? How many stories? Do we need the garage? If we're getting a condo, how much is the parking? No. How about you worry about where you are going to live? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the budget? How is the neighborhood around where you're gonna live? What are the amenities that the area has? What's the convenience in around the area? Before you even worry about shit, how are we gonna move our stuff, whatever? How about you worry about the more important thing at hand? You know?
Yeah, you got
Because
to worry about like the foundation that you're trying to build on.
exactly, because there are so many games out there that are the example of mansion built on sand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Like, ooh, very nice graphics, very nice audio design, excellent acting, so nice models that you can see the pores on their skin. How about the gameplay loop? Oh, it's shitty, repetitive, and grindy in nature. If you can't, like, that is like, again, I've seen games that look worse that play better. And I'm looking at games like, I mean, when I say worse, I don't necessarily mean bad, but like the graphics are not like what you expect nowadays. But you look at freaking Octopath Traveler and Project Triangle Strategy. Those are using like 8-bit graphics, 8-bit high def graphics that are a lot better than a bunch of JRPGs of recent release.
Yep.
Like JRPGs nowadays, ooh, really nice graphics, but how's the gameplay loop? How's the grind? Is it actually fun? Is the story actually compelling?
Like,
It's
is it really hooking me into this world? Like,
even if the game looks great, if you don't even have the energy or the motivation to play it, the graphics are just icing on no cake.
Mhm.
That's basically it.
I mean, like, you're not wrong. I mean, like, honestly, it's so weird that like when these devs, like, especially if they're like well-known developers, when they start actually like talking about their game being the next big thing, but all they do is talk about like how good it looks, how nice, how much effort they're putting into like the acting, the story, and all that. It just kind of like rings a few bells that you're like, what
So
about the
has
gameplay?
another developer. So did this game. So did that game. Like, this is a video game. The
Right?
game has to be the focus. We're not
You're right.
watching a video game, we're playing video games.
Exactly. So I don't understand why most directions, especially
And I know,
with AAA
as much
games.
as I hate Nintendo as a company, all of their IPs are just way stronger. Animal Crossing, Super Mario, Bayonetta,
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda. Especially people were modding so hard that Legend of Zelda won Game of the Year because its graphics look quote unquote shit. And I'm just like, you're not wrong. Compare Breath of the Wild to Elden Ring, the graphics are night and day. Even
Mm-hmm.
if like, but that's the style of Legend of Zelda. Yeah, but you can't deny the fact that the texturing on some areas are very like last gen. But
Mm-hmm.
that's totally fine because the game itself is actually fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hella fun to play. And like honestly, one of my biggest comparisons for Legend of Zelda is definitely Skyrim. Like Legend of
Mm.
Zelda, like the map itself may not be as big as Skyrim, but it feels big. Even with
Mm-hmm.
fast travel and a fucking horse. Like, even in Skyrim, your forms of transportation, fast travel and a horse. Same thing. It's not like you're driving around San Andreas in Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, yeah, sure, the map is big, but you can literally use an airplane, a helicopter, a car, fast travel, so it doesn't feel that big. That's fine. But even with how big Hyrule is, because it's packed with both dense and open areas, it feels very big, even though like map size, if you were to compare Hyrule and Skyrim, I think Skyrim is a lot bigger. But there's just so many areas that are the same desolate like forest, same road trail, same cave, same dungeon. I'm like, huh?
It's like you've seen it once, you've seen it all.
Yeah, but in Breath of the Wild, like there's so many diverse biomes, and although there are a lack of temples, there are so many ruins that still have their own unique like personality in it. Like there's an old Hyrule temple that's been really abandoned, and there's like a huge number of guardians like deactivated. You're like, whoa, what happened here? And then you see another abandoned area, ruin on the other side of the map. It's completely different. Like, again, that's because the area is big, but it feels so packed with stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it's like, again, if you were to buy pizza from one restaurant and pizza from another restaurant, like, the way they do it is different. You like one over the other, because, like, the other, like, it may not be big, but oh boy, are the toppings great and whatever. The other one is, yeah, it's big, but there is more dough and crust than actual topping, so why even fucking bother?
Mm-hmm.
So again, like it's really up to preference. Some people just like huge empty worlds, I guess, and some people like huge dense worlds. But
Yeah.
like nowadays, I really like think that industry standards have to really go for quality more than quantity, because they always like to shove that in our faces. You know, like there are like
Yeah.
100 this and that. I'm like, how many of those am I gonna use or encounter? Like
Yeah, like
100 types of weapons to use. How many of those are actually fun and viable, you know?
yeah, no, especially when like I forgot what company and what franchise, but they were saying that they were planning their target was an annual release, and I'm just like, oh, we've seen this before, haven't we? Need
Call
for
of Duty,
Speed,
Call of Duty also.
yeah, Call of Duty as well. You know, it's like I understand like quantity over quality or quality over quantity, but like when it comes from like a AAA company, you just can't help but ask the questions. What the fuck went wrong? You know, like what board meeting approved this?
And actually, like my whole point for this is again, that same applies to streaming. Quality over quantity.
Exactly, I
Like
agree.
I mean, even though I stream so many hours per day, every day for the past how many months, I still make sure that my quality is up to par. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
streaming games that I'm sure a lot of you guys love watching me play. My mood is still the same. I'm still energetic. I'm still in a good mood. I mean, it hasn't affected my 2 episodes per month of Shrine Talk. That's still a thing, regardless of me now in this new format of, yeah, I'm streaming every day for 10 plus hours. I doesn't matter. I'm still delivering Shrine Talk episodes twice every month. I'm still doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really all about finding quality in your stream. You maintain that more than anything else. You can, because if you can make something really good, really small, you can make that larger slowly as time progresses. If you struggle making something big really good, how about you start small? Like if you
Yeah.
cannot,
Baby steps.
baby steps. If you cannot stream properly for more than 8 hours, try 2, and then 3, and then 4. You gradually increase the scale. As my
Mm-hmm.
swordsmanship coach always preaches, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you cannot do something fast, if you cannot do something slow, don't bother trying to do it fast. You're just gonna hurt yourself doing it. So if you cannot
Very true.
bother trying to do something of quality in a short amount of time, there's no fucking way you're gonna be able to do it in a long amount of time. So try small baby steps first.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really good approach that content creators and streamers should really take. More, it's not just like quantity is important, of course, but more so than quantity is quality,
Mm-hmm.
because we've seen this in YouTube. people dishing out clickbait content every day. That's
same
gonna
looking
last.
thumbnail, same
That's
colors.
that's gonna last them for only a short amount of time. But with how many big YouTube content creators are out there, there's a reason why only select few are really, really successful. Because they only release, like, even though they release 1 or 2 videos every week, it's quality AF. I would rather watch a channel that release maybe 2-3 videos every 1 or 2 weeks that are of very good quality than videos nearly every day that are just like, ugh, these are churned out just for views, aren't they?
Yeah, because I mean, like, at that point, you can already see that they are.
I mean, like, one of my favorite content creators, Internet Historian, every time he posts a video, it's every like 2 months or a month or 3, but it gets millions of views every time because it's very superior quality. Like,
Yeah.
sure, it doesn't follow the common YouTube trend of 10-minute videos very often and several thousand views. Like, if you can do that with really good quality, hella good for you. But if you can't, focus on just dishing out videos whenever you can of consistent quality. Same goes for streams. If you cannot stream every day, every other day, just stream when you can of good quality and then do it more often slowly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Final question. What are some tips or stuff to avoid that you'd like to teach to other streamers and content creators?
Huh.
From your experience, not just like stuff we've seen or people do, but like personal experience, yeah.
Well, cause funny enough, like my cousin, she's messaged. She's like 15 years old and she wants to start streaming. She wants to start as a PNG tuber as well.
Damn, nice.
And she's coming at me and she's all like, "Oh, I got so much anxiety to start," And honestly, the one thing I always tell anybody who tells me that like they just have genuine anxiety of just starting to stream is to literally just shake the nerves away, as in like literally shake every limb of your body, like pace around your room if you want to, do a few jumping jacks. It helps because once you get your blood pumping, once you get all of that nerves and jitters out of you, you tend to have things a lot more smoother than you think. It was something that I definitely had an issue with when Animal Crossing 365 started taking off. I was getting like so many people coming on in. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to keep up with chat. So
back
that's
when
one
modding
thing.
in Facebook was a fucking myth.
Oh my god, me, a mod team? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I had a mod team? No. But like, not just that, but also like when you start fresh, definitely I would say it's always best to just stick to your guns. Stick to what you know. Like if people do come into your stream and they are avid streamers, like they stream themselves and they want to come at you with some advice, always take it in, always be appreciative of like whatever people are handing to you, but stick to what like put what they're telling you to your own practice in a way that you understand it. Because with your content, you're trying to make content that's yours. You're trying to be your own thing that's original. You want to be different from what you're seeing a lot of people out there trying to do. So don't try to make yourself into just a simple carbon copy of a repeat or of something that's all that has already been done. Try to give things a little twist to make it original and true to yourself, that that like, yep, I'm doing this. This is something that I can see not just me doing, but sure, other people could do it, but this is how I'm gonna make it. Because it's always hard to try to like pick yourself out from, like, let's say you're playing a game that's, let's say, Fortnite. If you're a Fortnite streamer and you're trying to make yourself big as a Fortnite streamer, you need to find a way to be able to pick you out from, like, all the hundreds of thousands of other people who are streaming Fortnite.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always about trying to be your own sense of uniqueness, but at the same time not changing yourself too drastically that it would turn off your audience. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but like, you know, if you know what I mean, then like, yeah, that's the direction of where you want to go needs to also be a direction that you can stick to. You know, stick to your guns.
Okay.
I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did. That's actually, yeah, that's very, very good advice. I completely agree, especially with the part of like going with your gut. I would add to that. Number one, I have three really important advice to give you guys. Number one, trust your instincts. Usually, when you feel something is off, or you feel like this is a very good idea, see it through. Like, trust your instincts, because if there is something that you should trust first before anyone else, trust yourself. If you cannot trust yourself, how are you gonna trust others? So when someone tells you, you should do this, and your instincts tells you, no, bad idea, don't do it. But if you hear someone say it, then you're like, actually, it sounds like a pretty good idea. Then they have a point. But of course, with that comes number two, learn to listen. As a streamer, learn to listen to your viewers, and also, this is a bit complicated to grasp, but learn to listen to yourself. When I say learn to listen to yourself, whenever you stream or even play games, sometimes there's that little voice in your head that tells you like, you should take a break, you should try something else, this is too easy, this is too hard, maybe you should try another game. Learn to listen. And I said listen, I didn't mean like let them decide. No, like, because that little voice in your head that tells you like you should stop, even if it is against your current state of mind, it's coming from somewhere. So for example, if you're going through this grind of Elden Ring and you're just against a wall, you can't seem to progress, and your brain says give it a rest. But you're like, I've only started grinding for like 2 hours. I have 3 hours more of energy left. But when a part of you says, oh, give it a rest, it comes from somewhere. It may be you from the future that's like, no, you already know what's gonna happen if you do this for 3 more hours. Don't do it. Or that could be your conscience like, I don't want to hate this game. I should take a break before I completely hate this game. So other than listening to your viewers and even the toxic people that you encounter in your chat once in a while, learn to listen to yourself as well. So when you tell yourself like, yeah, I've been streaming Animal Crossing for 420 days, I think I should give it a rest. Yeah,
give it a rest.
And you're like, I can push for 666. No. That voice in your head comes from somewhere within you. They have a point. It's not baseless. It's not just pure conjunction or anything. No, it's from a sound reason, at least.
Yeah, it could be either like you've had a previous experience with doing an ultimate grind for 666 days that your body already can tell that you're going down that path again and it's not going to go well.
So,
or
yeah.
It could be like the ideology that your mods are already saying like you need to take a rest, you know, it'll ring in your head.
Yes. Now lastly, pace yourself. And when I say pace yourself, I'm not even talking about just how often you stream, but growing your brand. Pace yourself. Trust me, when I started off, I celebrated when I had 50 followers as if I had 1,000 followers. I was so happy when I got 50. And then I got 100. And then 300. Now I'm nearing 900. I never, honestly, like, I'm not humble bragging here. Like, I honestly did not expect myself to get this far with this many followers and so many regulars and new friends that I've met along the way. I never expected it to, you know, get this far. And honestly, it's not something that I actively planned. Like, I just went with it. I just paced myself. I
Mm-hmm.
focused on smaller milestones first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
instead of meeting, like, oh man, I want to befriend, like, this big streamer or this big VTuber. Like, that's a good goal to look to, but you have to take the steps before that. It's like, like, it's like, how many steps are you skipping if that's the only goal you have? Like
I
you
think like an easier way to say that would to also to be like humble yourself with your
Oh
progress.
yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Like it's one thing because comparing yourself to a big streamer is a very double-edged sword. Because like
Mm-hmm.
one, like you see that you're in the same like yeah, you're a VTuber, he's a VTuber, or like yeah, he's an Animal Crossing streamer, I'm an Animal Crossing streamer, but they have such a huge like following. But that's all you see. All you see is the numbers. You do not see the grind and the work they had to go through to get there because that's all you see. But you have to remember that everyone had to go through with it. They just got lucky at some point. But remember, none of them wouldn't have gotten lucky if they didn't stick out for as long as they have. So it could take you like your spike in growth could take a week, a month, half a year, a year. You never know. But you really have to just grind it out and trust your progression, no matter how small. Like, even if you got only one follower, 5 followers this week, just celebrate that first. Celebrate that first. Because not many people, like, for you, 1 follower a day is like, oh my god, just 1 follower a day. Somebody else out there is already jealous of you that you got even just 1 follower on
Mm-hmm.
that day. Doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
like doesn't matter if you just started streaming or you're already in 6 months in streaming. There is always someone who is jealous of where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that oh, I only have 200 followers, dude, there's someone out there, so many people out there who would kill to get 200 followers no matter how long you've been streaming. Or you've only been streaming a week, a
Mm-hmm.
month, half a year, and you have 200 followers. There are a lot of streamers out there who would really really want that level of success. You think it's small, but for others it's big. And
Yeah.
it's really just up to perspective. Because again, back then I celebrated 50 followers like I had 1,000. Because I was just so happy that I got 50 followers in that amount of time. And then when I got my first payout in Twitch, it took me 3 months. Was it 3, 4? 3 to 4 months to get my first payout. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of streamers out there who are like, damn, you got yours in just 3 to 4 months? They'll say just 3 to 4 months. But
Mm-hmm.
others, it's just, yeah, it's Tuesday, yeah. Whatever. I get yeah, this regular business. But for others, it's a big thing. It's really up to
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
It's
Especially
it's really about like focusing on where you are right now rather than always focusing on where you want to be in the
yes.
future.
Because like the thing that you are experiencing right now is real. It is as real as it gets. What is happening in the future, you don't know if it's real or not. You could fail, you could succeed. But what's happening now is real. Relish that and try to keep it going. If it doesn't work out, try again. Because we have our off days and our best days. I mean, for those who will look back like in their video producer tab, they look, oh, so many people tuned in today. Oh, not many people tuned in today, even if it was a Friday. There are so many factors that contribute to that. It's not always you as a streamer. Because the fact that people even tuned in on that day when there were fewer viewers than normal means that you were doing something right. That also means, though, that you did something wrong. So you also learn from your mistakes, but don't just take the mistakes from your stream. Also take
Mm-hmm.
the things that you did right so you know what to keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always a good thing to learn from your mistakes, but it's also a good thing to remind yourself that you are doing something right, because that is what makes you stay. What keeps you growing is the mistakes you make, but what keeps you going, what keeps you staying in this like hobby or job, whichever it is to you, is the success you get every day. No matter how small or how big, it's still a success. Because there are struggling streamers out there that go through weeks or days on end, nothing but failure. And they see themselves stuck in a rut and they don't know how to get out of it. So consider yourself lucky if you're not there. If you are, don't give up hope. I know it's easier said than done, but don't give up hope. There have been more people that quit because they failed than people who gave up trying to get successful.
Very true. Absolutely true.
Like, to them, success is 500 followers. And they stop at 200 because they're like, I'm not gonna get 500 followers, am I? You wouldn't know if you gave it a shot now, did you?
You always just gotta keep pushing.
I mean, like, the pinned tweet on my Twitter is a constant reminder of how things can drastically change. My goal for 2022 was reach 500 followers on Twitch. It's only July and I'm nearing 900. I honestly don't know what caused it. All I know is that I'm doing something right, so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. You have to really trust in the system, and that's really what the grind is about. It's a very cruel thing, but it doesn't have to be completely like hopeless or not fun. You can still make it fun for yourself. Like, do not let anyone tell you that work is not supposed to be fun. That is absolute bullshit, and you know it. Just because it's work doesn't mean it's not fun. No, I do not believe in that, and this is a hill that I will die on. Work can be fun. I am sick and tired of that very outdated mentality that work is not supposed to be fun. Wrong. If work is not supposed to be fun, then you're either in Japan or you're just too conservative to see the fun in doing something. Right? Because people have fun doing hobbies. What's stopping them from having fun? I don't know. Making a financial report.
Oh, boy.
We're not one to judge. But if it's fun for them, then it's fun.
Yeah. Don't let anybody tell you what you're doing is not fun. If it's fun for you, it's fun for you.
Exactly. But again, like I said earlier, so yeah, my 3 tips are exactly that. One of the most important ones definitely is to learn to listen. And more importantly, the self part. Because there's some things that you yourself are too afraid to like accept, but somewhere in your head that voice keeps reminding you, like, keeps telling you the same message, like, take a break, try something else, time to stop. Even though you don't want to, it's from a proper line of reason. So you should not surrender to the voice, of course, no, but listen to it, give it a listen. And that is it for this episode of Shrine Talk. Thank you so much, Foxtrots, and thank you so much to my special guest, Goth. Thank you for coming over for this episode of Shrine Talk.
Thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate it. This is my first I guess interview from a VTuber, and it's an honor.
Hell yeah. Alright, before I go on with my schedule for today and my next stream after a quick half-hour break, I'll do my usual thing, of course. For those who haven't followed Goth, do please give Goth a follow over there. Gave him a shout out right there. And of course, before we wrap up this episode, I'd like to give the red carpet to Goth. Do give a shout out, and of course, whatever shout outs you have or anything that's happening, what's gonna happen, like your next stream or any special announcements about your channel that you want to, please don't hesitate to share it, because the red carpet is all yours.
Shit, am I doing anything special? Wait. I wasn't expecting this. Let me well, I mean, the one thing that's special is happening is that yes, I am releasing a schedule for the first time ever, like honestly ever. So be great to get some input from y'all to know if it's something that we're cool with, that we're chill about. There is a whole restructure going on right now with my content, so let's power through it. Woo! Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Okay, Foxtrots, I will see you after 30 minutes. I'm gonna take a break. Sayonara, otsuyoko deshita. 私の配信に来てくれて本当に光栄です。ありがとうございました。Good evening, good night, and have a good day. My precious Foxtrots, and of course, Mutuals from Goth's channel. Thank you so much for tuning in this episode of Shrine Talk. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.